Sawadee-ka. We got back from Thailand 2 days ago now, and we had the most incredible time over there. But there were a few things we wished we'd known, not huge things, but things that really helped us along the way. So we thought that we would share them with you right now. One of the first things you're going to want to do when you get to Thailand is to get connected. So this section is about connecting your mobile phones and also charging your devices while you're there. My partner has a plan with Optus here in Australia where global roaming for them was only going to cost $5 a day with 5 GB of data, and that was plenty. So that worked out really well for them. But I wasn't in that position. It was going to cost me an arm and a leg to do global roaming. So I ordered an eSIM before I left. There are lots around. You just have to look at what your needs are, how long you need it for, how many gigabytes of data you need per day, those sorts of things. There is Wi-Fi in lots of places, although in a lot of our hotels, you had to log into it every single time that you came back in. There was issues and all sorts of stuff, but that's small stuff really. So there are eSIMs that you can order. There are lots of places that you can buy physical SIM cards as well. It's really quite easy. Have a look around, see what is the best for you. We both bought these charging cubes fairly cheaply through Amazon. They've got the different kinds. This was one type that fit in Thailand. This was another one as well. And then we could just plug that in and use the USB or USB-C parts that are on here and charge our devices really easily. That was really valuable for us to have the whole time that we were in Thailand. It meant that we needed less cords, less of the bricks. We just could plug everything into our one devices. So that was super, super easy. The security in Thailand, we were never in a position where we felt unsafe. We went down some alleyways and interesting looking sorts of streets, sometimes intentionally, sometimes accidentally, but we never felt unsafe. We did get told in a few places. There were signs in some big temples, and there were also people telling us at places like Chatuchak markets to make sure you hang on to your wallets. But we were pretty well secure before we even left, and we didn't feel threatened in any way, shape, or form. A few things that we did have that made us feel even more secure were things like this. This is just a simple retractable cord that I attached to my ripcord on my shorts, or you could do it to your belt. And this went into my pocket and I kept my day money in there. It was fantastic. When I did show this to someone at Chatuchak Markets, one of the sellers, and she had said to us, oh, make sure you hang on to your wallet. When I showed her this, she was like, oh, that's so good. And it really was something that made me feel super secure and super easy to use as well. And both of these things, I bought 2-pack of those and a 2-pack of these from Amazon. I'm not getting any affiliation or money from Amazon at all. They've been our best friend with purchasing lots of things. These things cost like less than $20 for the 2 things and were really helpful. I also had a body money bag that goes under your shirt. Carry passport, your money, whatever you feel. It's easy. It hangs down to your side, and it's easy enough to sort of discreetly get stuff out of there if you need to. If you need to top up your money in your day money or whatever, it was nice and easy to use. The other thing that my partner bought myself and him were these fantastic bags from a brand called Alpaka. This was like the most incredible thing that we had. I got a sling bag. He got a bum bag that he used as a sling bag though. They're really easy to use. They're really easy to get in and out of. They're really secure. There's a special magnetic clips that can't just be broken or, but they're really easy to use to unhook if you need to as well, but not so easy for someone to just take off you. They're waterproof. They're wipe proof. We traveled everywhere, including to elephant sanctuaries and, you know, absolutely everywhere with these things, and it still looks brand new after 17 nights in Thailand. We would highly recommend this. I'll put the name of the company along the screen as well. Shopping. Let's face it, you're going to want to do a lot of shopping. If you just have a look, I've got a Red Bull shirt. There's cushions there. There's stuff, table runners there. There's one on the coffee table behind me. There's trinkets hanging, and on there. Our house has definitely been tied. There is a huge amount of shopping that can be done in Thailand. They do seem to know just by looking at you, perhaps by the bewildered look in your eye, or perhaps by the clothes that you are wearing. They seem to know if you are fresh in the country. And we found that over time, things got a little bit cheaper for us over the time. We were perhaps better at bargaining. We weren't ruthless, because a few dollars for them could sometimes, it's nothing to us, but it could mean a lot to them. We weren't ruthless with bargaining. However, things did seem to get cheaper as we went along. So here's a few tips with our shopping. First thing, if you do carry cash with you, there are lots of places for you to do money exchange. We found that Super Rich was the best, but also the busiest. So if you're not too worried about a couple of dollars difference, there are lots of other places. Just have a look around as well. Super Rich was great. We did find though that if you had even the slightest tear on your money, we had Australian currency, if there was a slight tear, like a 2mm tear on one of my $50 notes, and they would not accept that. So just be aware of that. If you are looking for clothes, there are so many options to choose from. Generally here in Australia, I like a size large. Over there though, this one is like double XL, and it's about the size of large. So sometimes, generally, the sizes were 2 sizes bigger than what we would buy here in Australia. When you are looking for products like your deodorants or your sunscreen, they use a lot of products over there that have whitening in it. So just be aware of that. We took over our own sunscreen and our own deodorants, just travel size ones, and that meant that we didn't have to worry about that. But a lot of the products over there do have whitening in it. Something that was really handy also for us was this travel duffel bag. It folds down into this little zipper, and then when you do unfold it, that zipper becomes the front pocket, and it becomes quite a big duffel bag. We carried that around when we were doing some day trips or overnight trips, and also if you wanted to have extra space for when you are shopping, that was very handy indeed. A really incredible tip that we found on one of our last days in Bangkok. We had about 1 day to go. It was our second last day, and we got up really early. We're early bird people, and we went to Platinum Markets. We were there at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and we were literally the only tourists there. Everyone around us were Thai people. The prices were insane. They were a lot cheaper than they had been the day before in the afternoon. If you bought 3 items, there was a big discount. They had prices up for most things. So one was like 100 baht, two was 150, just for an example. And we got so many things on that second last day, and it was like Thai prices rather than the later in the day, which was more the tourist prices. So early at Platinum Markets was a really good tip. It was cheaper than any of the other markets that we went to. So that's pretty cool. There is, of course, a language barrier. You are in another country where the native tongue is not English. However, my attitude was always, well, their English is better than my Thai, so we just do the best that we possibly can. We used these a fair bit. What I did was I printed out the names and the addresses of the hotels that we were all staying in. We had already booked our hotels before we got there, so that was something easy to do. I know that laminating things is not very environmentally conscious, but these were incredibly valuable for us. We could then just easily show a taxi driver the name and the address of our hotel, and there was never an issue with them finding it. We also used Google Translate a huge amount. There was times where we needed certain things within the shops, and once you got out of Bangkok, there was even more of a language barrier, and typing something into Google Translate made things really easy. And also, when you put on the camera on the Google Translate and hold it over certain products within the 7-Elevens or the supermarkets or anywhere, or even signposts, it translates it to English for you. And we just found that was really, really easy to use Google Translate, both for texts and for photos. Getting around in Thailand is reasonably easy, but you do have to know a few tips and tricks. Taxis, when we left, we watched lots of YouTube clips where they said, make sure that you tell the taxi to put the meter on. There won't be a problem. Lots of people said that there wouldn't be a problem. Well, we did have a bit of a problem with that. It could be because it was a massive tourist time over the December and January time. However, lots of taxi drivers were a bit begrudging about putting on the meter. And sometimes we even found, though, we did comparisons where bargaining a fixed price, was just as good as using the meter anyway. Look, at the end of the day, if you're safe, if you're feeling safe and you're happy with the price, then it doesn't really matter. We did use the apps Bolt and Grab a fair bit over there. However, we found that if we were going to places that were a little bit further away from our hotel, the finding someone to actually come to pick us up was difficult. It was saying connecting to a driver, and then the driver didn't accept the job. And sometimes it took quite a bit of time for us to find a driver. We just found that it was sort of easy to negotiate with a taxi or a tuk-tuk. Go out onto the street, find one, negotiate. If you're happy, that's all that matters. We did use the BTS, and there is also the MRT. We didn't use the underground MRT while we were over there, but from research, it's pretty simple as well. We just went to the BTS closest to us. It was easy to find on Google Maps. You went and bought your ticket, you scanned it to go in, and then you inserted it to come out the other end. We just bought single-use tickets all the times that we used it. There are other ways where you could buy like a rabbit card that you can top up, but we just found it's nice and easy. It is definitely easy to use, but be warned, sometimes, especially around the areas that we were in, like the Siam area, the Siam BTS station was always packed and the trains going to and from that station were very busy. I was lucky, the last time that I used it, I was lucky to get onto it straight away, but I had to wait. Like, I'd obviously just missed one, which was fine. I waited 10 minutes or so and got on another one, but there were like 3 times the amount of people still waiting on the train station to get on. So they would have had to have waited for a few trains perhaps before they could get on there. There is a lot of food in Thailand. Everywhere you go, there are food stalls. It is a big part of the life over there. Locals and tourists eat out a huge amount. I have to say, we weren't overly adventurous when it came to eating. We know there are lots and lots of food, street food vendors everywhere. We just had a little bit of a problem with meats being left out, not with any source of heating or cooling. So we were probably overly cautious when it came to food. It is interesting to give things a try, though, at the end of the day. We found that really good alternative to the street food scene was to go into the major food courts in the big shopping centres. You went to a cashier and topped up a money card. You could say, put 200 baht on a card and then go and scan the QR code at all of the, at any of the different places within the food courts. A lot of the places in the food courts are actual street food places. However, for us, we felt a little bit more secure about eating the food because they cooked it then and there. It wasn't sitting out, which a lot of, not all of, but a lot of the street food stuff is sort of just sitting out. Where in the food courts, you could easily find places that cook the food then and there for you. And we had some of the most incredible meals in these food courts. You can easily top up the card if you need more, or if you just suddenly have the urge to have a mango and sticky rice like I did most times. Or you could then, if you've still got money on the card, you could take it back to the cashier and they give you back whatever's left. They're really super duper easily. The other thing that was like our lifesaver were the 7-Elevens. Now, before we left, we heard, there's a 7-Eleven on every corner. And that's not quite true because there is one on every corner, but there's also like 2 or 3 between every corner as well. Just in the one block where we were first staying in the Pratunam area in Bangkok, we did a morning walk and there were 6 7-Elevens on that one tiny little block. But they are fantastic. The cheese toasties, they are as good as everyone else on YouTube says they are, and they cost like 29 baht, which is just over $1 in Australian money. They have practically everything that you could want in there. The things that we got really addicted to were the vitamin C. They're called Vit C. They're little glass bottles. They were delicious. The iced drinks, like the iced coffee, there's a strong one, an espresso, and a weaker one. The iced tea, the Nest tea ones, and then also the Thai tea. I did find in a couple of them too, the apple iced tea. And honestly, for like 20 baht for a big cup of them, they were just incredible and was a daily regular thing for us. Also, the Red Bull, it did originate all those years ago in the 70s in Thailand. And that's why I'm wearing a Red Bull t-shirt. The little syrups that you can get within the bottles there. If you've had a big day shopping, big day walking around, it's a really incredible pick-me-up there as well. And they're like 20 baht for, less than $1 for one of the little bottles of those two. But yeah, 7-Eleven saviors. They were just incredible. And they're not just open from 7 until 11. On the first few days, we were still in Australian time zone in our heads, and we were waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So going down for a cheese toastie, because they're open 24 hours a day, going down for a nice coffee, going down just to look at all the different products, which were pretty amazing as well, was incredible. Nobody wants to get unwell when they are away on holidays, of course, but sometimes it does happen. Thailand is an interesting place as far as smells go. You could be walking along, especially in Bangkok, and that cooking smells incredible. And then in the next second, you get a smell that's not quite as desirable, that would, practically knock the top of your head off with its not so savory smell. We found pretty early on that these smelling sticks were absolutely incredible. This row of them cost about 100 baht over there. We bought lots of different kinds. We bought a whole pile back with us and gave a whole pile to family as well. This is a bit of a fancier one with the gold tempered. It's probably just painted aluminium, but it looks quite nice. There are lots of different kinds of ones. It's great for a few things. It's great for the different smells. When you are walking along, you just have one of those in your pocket and have a whiff. But also we found that it has a strange cooling effect as well. It made you feel better. It perked you up slightly. I'm not 100% sure what's in them, but they're not illegal. They were a huge lifesaver for us while we were over there. It is super duper hot over there. It especially, we found in the Bangkok area, it was incredibly hot. Something that helped us a huge amount was, of course, drinking lots of water. Bottled water from the 7-Eleven cost us about 7 baht, which is about 25 cents. 20 to 25 cents for a bottle of water in 7-Eleven, so that's no excuse. As I said, 7-Elevens are everywhere anyway. To stay hydrated, we did also have hydrolyte tablets, which we made sure we took one of those per day as well. Having like cooling body wipes on you helped a lot, but also so did these little tablet things that I bought from Amazon. They are the inside stuff is biodegradable. Obviously the packaging is not, but what you do is you can just put that in your palm, put a tiny bit of water on it, and it hydrates and makes a face wipe that is cooling. Used them a huge amount. They helped a lot. Because it is so hot over there, there is air conditioning in most places. All of the hotels that we were in had air conditioning, of course. However, we're not used to sleeping in air conditioning. It was necessary because of the heat, but we're not used to that. That did mean that we did get a little bit congested while we were over there. We got a little bit nasally. It could have been from any number of factors, of course, but we thought that it may have been from the extended use of air conditioning. What we did when we were over there and we were congested was you could go to the 7-Eleven, you can go to a drugstore or pharmacy over there, and we got some more natural sorts of products to help, and boy did they help. This was just a cough syrup that we got over there in 7-Eleven. It really helped, but one of the most incredible things that we had, you've probably seen in all of the videos about what to buy in Thailand, are these cough lollies, well, cough drops. They're tiny little cough balls that you just suck on, and it seems to just put a coating over your throat and it stops the cough straight away. We ended up buying a box of 12 of these for ourselves, and bought a couple for family as well. We just think they were miraculous. So yeah, if you've got also any aches and pains, there are tiger balms that you can buy really easily everywhere, 7-Elevens and drugstores and supermarkets and whatnot. Something that was a real incredible find last time that I was in Thailand was this white liniment oil. It doesn't burn as much on the skin as tiger balm, but if you've got any aches and pains, it's incredible for that. While I was over there this time around, it was at night time. I actually got, without even realizing it until a little bit later, I got bitten by a bunch of tiny little fire ants around my ankles. Now, it really wasn't fun. They were swollen and red, and like hot, itchy. But with the visiting a drugstore and with talking with the people that are there, they gave me a couple of different things. Now, a lot of the antihistamines, when you buy them over there, they are ones that cause drowsiness. So just be incredibly aware of that. I didn't want to take an antihistamine and then fall asleep for 8 hours. So I did find some normal non-drowsy Telfast that did help. But then of a nighttime, I took a antihistamine. It did help me sleep, but it did also help with clearing up the ant bites around my ankles. The other thing that we found was this. It is a herbal ointment. It's a little jar. You can get all different sizes. I've got a couple of different sizes. This one I haven't opened yet, but it is just an ointment that is for burns, bites, all sorts of stuff. It's also good for headaches. It's good for muscle aches. This was an incredible find and one that I hope we can use for a long time. So that's all from us for now. These are just a few things that we've picked up along the way that we discovered while we were there or discovered before we left or came up with before we left. Hopefully they helped you slightly. If you've got any other tips or any comments, please put them in the comments down below. And this is just our opinion. None of the products that I was talking about are sponsored. I'm not sponsored by any of them or anything like that. They are just literally things that we've picked up along the way. So I hope they help you as well.